Hey,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So today we are going to talk about 5 things about Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is fastly approaching. I don't know if fastly is a word, but I made it one today. Valentine's Day is quickly approaching. And so we're going to do 5 things about Valentine's Day. Number one, no one knows the true origin of Valentine's Day. One legend says that Valentine was a priest who served during the 3rd century in Rome when Emperor Claudius II decided that single men made better soldiers than those with wives and family. He outlawed marriage for young men. Valentine, realizing the injustice of the decree, defied Claudius and continued to perform marriages for young lovers in secret. When Valentine's actions were discovered, Claudius ordered that he be put to death. It's funny, I was going to say when Valentine's Day actions were discovered, but when Valentine's actions were discovered, Claudius ordered that he be put to death. So he became a martyr. That is one theory of why we have Valentine's Day.
So herein is the thing. They were sneaking to get married, but we have somehow changed this big day of marriages into a day to give gifts. Now, I'm not complaining. Give me all the chocolate, give me all the flowers, give me all the stuffed animals, take me out, treat me right. Like that is a wonderful thing, but I just think that it's funny how we kind of got here.
You know what? It's interesting that you say that because I remember when I used to think that, actually, up until just now, I used to think that it was corny for people to get married on Valentine's Day. I'm like, well, that's so corny. But now, knowing that people were actually prevented from being married and that that's what St. Valentine was really doing, it actually puts more significance to people getting married on Valentine's Day. So maybe it's not so corny after all.
I know it's more like traditional, honoring the
Yeah,
tradition.
absolutely.
Number two, Valentine's Day likely had pagan origins. While some believe that Valentine's Day is celebrated in the middle of February to commemorate the anniversary of Valentine's death or burial, others claim that the Christian church may have decided to place St. Valentine's feast day in the middle of February in an effort to Christianize the pagan celebration of Lupercalia. Celebrated at the Ides of February or February 15th, Lupercalia, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, was a fertility festival dedicated to Faunus, the Roman god of agriculture. Lupercalia was an ancient pagan festival held each year in Rome on February 15th. Although Valentine's Day shares its name with the martyred Christian saint, some historians believe the holiday is actually an offshoot of Lupercalia. Unlike Valentine's Day, however, Lupercalia was a bloody, violent, and sexually charged celebration awash with animal sacrifice, random matchmaking, and coupling in the hopes of warding off evil spirits and infertility. Wow.
Wow. But you know what? It's like surprise, surprise, another Christian holiday that has origins in the pagan tradition. I mean, at the end of the day, we got rid of them, but the pagans won. The pagans won. Seriously.
you know,
Look at,
I
go
I
ahead.
don't even know what to say about that. The pagans won. We got everything on our calendar. We got all these things going on that we celebrate. We don't even know what we're celebrating. And I think to some extent, it makes me wonder the Christianizing and what is the essence of Christianity if what Christians were trying to infuse had all of these other pagan rituals in it? So, what is the Christian element of Valentine's Day exactly?
I guess just based on this priest is what they do, but it's interesting to me because we, in a way, belittle pagans, and of course, they were persecuted. However, when we say it was violent and sexually charged, it was a violent and sexually charged celebration awash with animal sacrifice. I mean, in the Old Testament, there is plenty of animal sacrifice, even taking doves to be sacrificed at the temple, which was, considered to be a bad sacrifice. So I guess you had to sacrifice something greater. So Christianity, I think it goes to show that we have tried to erase a lot of what the true origins of Christianity are, not just with erasing the pagan affiliation, but also erasing a lot of the African affiliations or in traditions. Not that we can erase them, but we just acknowledge them, I guess is a better way of saying it.
But I think that's erasing too, right? So when you don't acknowledge, I think about Ralph Ellison saying, I'm invisible simply because people choose to not see me. And so you become invisible. The history becomes invisible and it does disappear and it is erased because we're not learning it. We're not passing it down. We're not telling at the basic heart of it all, we're not telling the truth. Right. And so, yeah. Whew.
Wow. All right. Number 3. Valentine's Day is connected to nature. During the Middle Ages, it was commonly believed in France and England that February 14th was the beginning of the birds' mating season, which added to the idea that Valentine's Day should be a day for romance. The English poet Geoffrey Chaucer was the first to record St. Valentine's Day as a day of romantic celebration in his 1375 poem, Parliament of the Fools, writing, "For this was sent on Svent Valentine's Day, when every fowl cometh there to choose his mate." Did you hear my own English?
Yes, I did. I heard that in there.
Now, just as an aside, in high school, we had to learn the Canterbury Tales opening in Old English. Everybody had to do the one that opera with the shortest shuta and the drop the march of first to the ruta. Anyway.
We just had a taste of Kimberlee's past. Yes, Reverend.
So, but again, I think with this whole, connecting it to the birds' mating season, again, it's not exactly pagan, but it's connected,
I think I like the idea of it being connected to nature. So much of what we do is very humanistic and very human-centered that we forget, like we're part of a larger ecosystem of existence, and in which a lot of how we experience life is experienced in many ways across the board through creation. So the idea that birds are mating or animals are mating at this time of year, this begins the spring that we enter into, which again is an idea of paganism. But even I challenge the idea of what we call pagan anyway, but I digress. Totally different episode, right. Totally different conversation.
Totally different conversation, but it is the idea that, if we talk about, and I think that there are a lot of underlying biblical teachings. For one, we talk about the animals and us being a part of that. The Bible says that God gave us dominion over the animals, but we're supposed to take care of them. I mean, now I would have never known and could never even tell you when birds start mating. So there's a huge disconnect from us and the natural world. And the other thing is, when we connect things to nature, the beginning of the Bible is God created heaven and the earth. And if God created all of this, why is it bad to celebrate it?
So what I just realized, and this is totally off topic, but we have been doing this episode and we're still backward again on the graphics. Oh my gosh, this is why we're doing sneak peeks, people, okay? So that we can get all this technology back. I don't know how or when it switched.
That's funny because I noticed it before you went, but I was like, oh no, she's gonna fix it. But then I didn't even see it. I could be Reverend Cassandra for today.
Okay, sorry y'all who are watching. Go ahead, Kim. We'll do we didn't even do our traditional table live opening. Do it, Kim. I'm
Reverend Kimberlee.
And I'm Reverend Cassandra. And this is
the Table Live. And we have the right pictures at the bottom.
Screen. Right. So those of you all who are confused, this is who we really are.
We should do that, I'm gonna have dress like Cassandra Day, dress like Kimberlee Day.
We're gonna switch it up on April Fool's Day. But yeah, okay, back to Valentine's Day. Sorry, I just totally just caught that. Okay, so Cupid, number 4. Cupid hasn't always looked like he looks now. Cupid is often portrayed on Valentine's Day cards as a naked cherub launching arrows of love at unsuspecting lovers. But the Roman god Cupid has his roots in Greek mythology as the Greek god of love, Eros. Eros was a handsome immortal who played with the emotions of the gods and men, using golden arrows to incite love and leading ones to sow aversion. It wasn't until the Hellenistic period that he began to be portrayed as the mischievous, chubby little child he'd become on Valentine's Day cards. I think the
Interesting.
idea of being shot by an arrow by a grown behind man would be problematic. They
That
had
is
to soften
scary.
it to a kid. They had to soften it.
No, it's interesting though, because again, being connected to Roman religion and, and all the synchronicity, as they called it, of trying to combine the pagans, the Romans, and the Christians reminds of what was going on, and how Christianity won in name, but not necessarily in the way that it's carried out. But when I first read this, I was like, Cupid used to be fine, right? But
Well, we don't know that Cupid. Well, I mean, it does say he was handsome, but I would love to see the definition of handsome, because I have seen some of the old artwork, and they're like, this was esteemed as a beautiful, or this was esteemed as a handsome, and I'm like, that's not.
not really. Well, I'm just in my mind, I'm just gonna run with Cupid used to be fine, right? That's what I'm right. But you know what? It also reminded me of the play A Midsummer Night's Dream, and the whole idea of Puck and how he was putting these spells on people. So this was clearly like a common, really, I'm going to use the word theology, but it was a common theology of how there could be these supernatural creatures that had some type of control over our love lives.
Yeah. I sometimes wonder what my love life would be like if I wasn't running the show.
Let Cupid run the show.
Huh?
Just let Cupid run the show. But
Right.
I feel like, I think that Eros is probably still at work shooting those leaden arrows, because there's so much aversion being sown. I'm going to just leave it at that. All right, number 5. Valentine's Day is bad for relationships. So we have this whole concept that Valentine's Day is supposed to be about love and gifts, but Valentine's Day, the way that we carry it out now, actually puts tremendous pressure on relationships, tremendous pressure on mates to make the right reservation, to buy the right gift, to give the right kind of candy. And so it actually can be a bad thing for relationships.
I remember us having a conversation with Randy Kessler, the attorney, a divorce attorney, and he was saying that the biggest day for divorce was the day after Valentine's Day. And I remember laughing about that, like, well, I guess it makes sense. If you don't show up and show up right, the day after Valentine's Day is like you're a losing game.
Right. And probably, sometimes if people are having affairs, they got to pick who they're going to celebrate Valentine's Day with,
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord.
Right.
Oh,
Or,
Lord.
what I can imagine that it probably is the point where people get fed up if you're already having like a bad marriage, and then your spouse doesn't even do the right thing on Valentine's Day. It can kind of be your breaking point.
Yeah, it exacerbates it because of all the pressure that surrounds the day, the demand for competition, even, like, and I think coupled with technology, there's this whole show everything about life and show that you're living your best life things, and I think that that can add pressure to trying to measure up or categorize how we are loved by the visible, tangible elements that we can post online.
Yeah, and comparing it to other people, where we may see someone get, fabulous gifts or get fabulous vacations or something wonderful that they're posting. We don't really know what the rest of that story is. And I think we definitely need to talk about that, because not in this episode, but another episode, because I watched Social Dilemma, and it is very, very interesting. But anyway, that is 5 things about Valentine's Day. That's the, that was the downside of being live. You just mess up and keep going.
I know, right? Listen, that was record breaking because we actually did it in 15 minutes. Okay. Including the technological hiccups. Woo-hoo.
Coming up next on The Table Live,
5 things that COVID has changed. Tune in as we talk about life, faith,
love,
culture,
and politics through a faith lens. From experts
to everyday people,
the young
and the old,
from every walk of life, all are welcome. So pull up a chair and join us at the table live,
where we're always honest,
always real, and always relevant.
Check us out online at www.thetablelive.com
or on social media using the handles @TheTableLive.
The Table Live is a subsidiary of Two Strand Productions, LLC.